before we dive into the episode, we just want to give a huge shout out to our sponsor, Choircast. Just like the game of Survivor, Choircast is all about bold storytelling, taking risks, and amplifying voices that challenge the status quo. We are so proud to partner with a network that values authenticity, curiosity, and digging deeper, because that's exactly what we're all about here on Beyond the Torch. Thank you so much, Choircast, for making this show possible.
Hello, friends, and welcome back to Beyond the Torch. I'm Todd, here with Leslie, and we have a super fun and special guest with us today from the season just before ours.
Woo!
In the jungles of Fiji, the first season to film in Survivor Fiji, Mr. Anthony Robinson.
Hello, hi guys.
Welcome.
Yeah, hello. Thanks you for having me. It's nice.
Yeah, not only are we having you, but dude, you were like the grand finale for season 1 of Beyond the Torch. So yeah, this is going to be the last one that you'll see until January. I will be recording a little bit in December with Courtney. Courtney and I think we have 3 different episodes we're going to record, but those won't play until January. So we can have the holidays off with our families. And of course, Todd is now making as many pops as he possibly can in 24 hours.
Yes. So I'm taking off the month of December. Oh, there it is.
Yeah,
Look,
Todd, or Anthony has his pop hanging up here. You should go look at it on YouTube if you're listening.
Oh, yeah.
So
I'm
cool.
taking off the month of December because I have Christmas orders to fulfill.
Yes.
So I will be gone. And our good friend Courtney is sitting in for me, but I'll be back. Don't you worry.
Yeah, definitely be back. She's just going to fill in. And I think we have some pretty good names. I think we've got Boston Rob and Tina Wesson and Brian Corridon. So those will be some really fun episodes that you'll hear in January. And Todd and I will start recording again in January. So enough of that housekeeping crap. Anthony, how are you?
I'm doing okay, man. Just kind of like trying to stay dry out here in sunny Southern California.
It's been raining for like, do you feel like Noah? I mean, like,
it's been raining off and on since like Thursday night. It's not bad. As we like to say, Southern California, we really needed it.
yeah.
I saw a weather map and they said they were evacuating people in parts of Southern California. Like,
You did make it sound like a really bad situation.
You know, here's the thing, and people forget it. And for my people who are like, Southern Californians freak out, and I'll say Southern Californians because we are a different breed than my Northern Californian friends. But in Los Angeles, more so, the LA area, we were built for mostly sunny days, and it's kind of how it works.
I would live there. That would be the only reason I would live.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's like, I get that. But the thing is, like, we used to have rain, and we used to have rain on the regular, but we've gone many years without it. And if you know anything about like how the desert works, or how that kind of that ground works, when it hasn't had water in a long time, it soaks it all up immediately, and then everything else runs off.
Yeah.
And we've had a weird relationship with water for years. I mean, the LA River, which people, the big drainage ditch, the reason it got built was because, we had a huge flood in the 1920s. Yeah, a huge flood that basically flooded all the way to, like the area where I live. So, and people forget that like it is an actual river.
I didn't know that. I like that. Interesting.
Yeah. Wow.
So there's places that drain, and places that drain slowly, and places that drain fast. So some places are flooding, and some places get, we just had all the fires, that we're still rebuilding from. All that vegetation got burned off, and that holds a lot of the hills together. So now we get mudslides. It's kind of it is the Los Angeles cycle. It's like we get drought, we get fire, we get rain, we get mudslides, we get.
But at least it sounds like you're a pro. At least,
yeah.
Los Angeles, like how it works.
Born and bred. Yeah. So we joke about like we shake and bake. It's like we get earthquakes, we get fires, we're fine. We get the occasional riot or uprising, and it just happens. It's the circle of life in Los Angeles.
Circle of life in Los Angeles. I love it. Well, we are excited to dive into your story, Anthony. I know it's going to be so much fun. Before we do, though, we always like to highlight our fans because Todd and I not only love Survivor fans, but we are Survivor fans. And so we developed this one little segment for the show called The Fans Have Spoken, where we give them time to share what the show has done for them. and then we just kind of get to talk about what they say. And today we have Lewis, and he is sharing his journey about Survivor.
Hey, this is Lewis, and personally, Survivor for me helped me a lot during the pandemic as I was very depressed during that time. And I remember finding the first season of Survivor like on Paramount Plus and just like very getting fascinated into it. And like it got me out of my depressions. And I kind of binged the whole show by the time the pandemic was over, which I don't know if that makes me addicted or not, but still. So I feel like for me, Survivor's one of the only shows where like it's not like any other reality shows where like people just like play up for the cameras. It's just generally real people and their emotions. Like I just think one Survivor moment I always think about is on season 40 with Ethan after, his battle with cancer and then him coming back all these years later to play it, even though he was taken out early, just like the strength and the power he had during that season and the impact is just was truly an inspiration for me. And then I'm always the underdog in my life, so relate to stories like some of the women like Jerry, Party, Michonne. Yeah, Survivor really has captured my life, and I always will be appreciative of it. So yeah.
Oh, Lewis.
It's very cool.
Todd, how many of these do we hear where people like jump in because of the pandemic and it
I
helps
love
get them through
pandemic
it?
Survivor fans. So like it's very interesting to me. And this is like how so on Instagram, so we didn't have Instagram back in our Survivor era day. So I had about 6,000 followers before the pandemic, right? Within 1 week, it jumped to 14,000
Whoa.
in 1 week. And this was because of Survivor pandemic fan, I'm not even kidding. Now it's like over 20,000, which is bizarre. And it's been 5 years. So like, these Survivor fans that started in the pandemic are insanely amazing. They sit down and they binge 40 seasons of Survivor in a year. And that's a lot of Survivor. That's so much Survivor. And they're the ones who know all the details. They know all of the information because old school Survivor fans like myself, right? We knew all of the information, but we had to wait for a new season. We had to wait for a new season. So we didn't just retain it all, but these COVID fans, they have notebooks and they have, layouts on their computers of notes and they keep track of all this information. It's really impressive. I love a COVID Survivor fan.
Yeah. Did you get any extra attention during the pandemic, Anthony? Do you remember?
I don't know if I did. It was my online relationship with Survivor has been weird because sometimes it's been really good and sometimes it's really bad. It's just,
Yeah. Depending on how people perceive you on the show.
Yeah. And I do know that I've gotten a lot less trolls and maybe I've just gotten better at blocking them out.
I think people's perception also has changed though.
Yeah. And I think that's been part of it too. During COVID, like it was just funny because like I know I can tell when people have been watching. Because my follower count goes up, it's like even early on when we were all on Twitter back in the day, we were on Twitter and MySpace. Wow, I'm showing my age. When we were back on those, like you could tell when we were re-airing in other countries because suddenly you get this huge influx of like Taiwanese. Like it's been airing in Thailand. It's like suddenly it's like everybody's got Thai names and Thai. It's like what do you mean? The funniest one about that was like I had an uncle once who was a pilot, is an airline pilot. And he was in Singapore. And I get this text early on. He was like, "You're on TV right now." I didn't know you were on TV because he didn't know. And I was
he didn't even know?
Yeah, he didn't know. He was like,
funny.
You're on TV in Singapore right now. I'm like, okay, that's great. But yeah, no, COVID was relatively quiet. Partly because even with a lot of people rewatching it, for whatever reason, Fiji is like one of those quiet seasons that people kind of forget. There's a couple seasons that people like don't really pay a lot of attention to unless you're a hyper super fan. What I actually got an influx of were people who played like the tag games. Like there's games that people play on Instagram. For those of you guys who don't know, there's people who play games on Instagram where they basically do their own version of Survivor, where they get points for following a character, following different players in their real life on their Instagram. So if they post their kid, or if they post their dog or food, they get points, different things. They have challenges.
Wait, what? That's hilarious.
How did you
yeah.
not know this, Leslie?
I didn't know this. That's so weird.
Yeah, and then there's other ones where, like, if they tag you and get you to comment, they get points, or like.
Okay, I've had people send me stuff and I've done it, but I didn't realize that was the whole like premise of the show. That's
their challenge. Their challenge is like get as many members of like X season to respond, or get, like.
That's so cute. Okay, that's not weird. Sorry, I didn't mean. I just was a little freaked out.
No, it's just a weird online. Look, as a weird online player of games, like it's just another fun weird online.
I love it.
Track. Okay.
Yeah, I even have a rule. So like, I'll tell them too. I will do whatever the person asks if they are first. But after that, because I could tell if it's one game, I'm like, nope, already did it for someone. You're in your game. And I like to make it a little harder. So that's something for all of you people who play those games.
I like that. Nice.
I'll do it.
You just gotta be fast.
First.
Yeah.
Well, also the big thing is you gotta be respectful. And like I've been fortunate enough to meet a couple other people at, like later on. Just like
at events and stuff. Yeah.
At events, like used to be like at events, and now it's people like messages online. And I've been really fortunate to meet some lovely people. But then there's people who are just completely disrespectful. Like there's the folks who forget that one, you're a real person, and that's the online thing that's been on forever. But also it's the people who just forget you're not the same person you were 20 years ago when you went on the show. It's like I am not the same, self-conscious 33-year-old that I was, 32 going on a 33-year-old that I was when I went on the show. I am now this self-conscious 50-year-old
who never change.
Who doesn't have that patience for some of that. As I say, I got 2 teenagers, so like I don't have patience or time for the mean girl stuff, because now it's like, okay, cool. And then yes, I'm dumb. I will engage the beast, but it's
hard not to.
We all have to learn that the hard way. I always feel bad for like the brand new survivors. I'm always like, it's going to be really hard for like 15 minutes. I promise they'll forget all about you. But it is hard. You're like, wait, everybody doesn't love me. Mommy said I'm amazing.
Oh man.
Here's the funny thing though. Okay. So you talk about like being a self-conscious 32-year-old on Survivor, and we'll get back to how you applied and whatnot. But we met a lot of the Survivor Fiji cast because we were so close together, season wise, right? So I met Anthony, and Leslie met Anthony, really right away. And you are one of the nicest, most genuine, coolest people from the whole Survivor world, and you completely changed any look or image that was created on Survivor of who you are. I was like, that is not the same person.
It is.
I'm putting that out there.
Okay,
but it's the same person, but just I think it's better when you can see the multifaceted Anthony. You were only getting to see one little part, but I think that there's almost a connection with the audience, Anthony, with your vulnerability and the way that you felt on the game, like being sort of bullied. I mean, I love Rocky, but he, your relationship with him was pretty, let's say, rocky.
Such a bad dad joke.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, but it was.
But it's true. But it's actually true.
It's true. But like since then, do you still talk to him, or how did that go?
Yeah. Oh man, like I said it out there on the island. It was the funniest thing is like in one of my interviews that never made the air. It was like, I'm like, he's rough on me and stuff, but he's at his heart, he's a good guy. Mm-hmm. And I knew that I'm like, we're gonna go out and have beers after this. And literally it's like, we're sitting there up on the dais, and it was just funny because we're sitting there, at the reunion show next to each other, and we're just chatting. We're just like, okay, what's up, bro? And we went out and hung out afterwards, and we've kept in touch since. And like I wish him happy birthday every year. I try to. For those of you guys who don't know, his birthday is 9/11, so that's a fun day to not get messages. So I try and wish him a happy birthday. He's a solid guy, and the first thing he did is funny. It's like in the streets of New York, the first thing he did was and I kid you not, like it's not hyperbole, he got down on his knees in front of my mom and my grandma and apologized to them for how he treated me.
Oh my
which was and he, you know, it was over the top and tongue in cheek, but he did it, and you know, and it was like it was really sweet, and
That's so sweet.
you know, and you know, he carried a lot of stuff coming into the show already for himself. If memory serves correctly, he stopped smoking, like literally, like he
Yeah,
did the thing
I
that
think he
he did the
did.
thing that so many survivors do. For those of you guys who are applying to survivors, do not cold turkey quit
You gotta taper that crab.
right before you get on the boat, okay?
I have a few people who quit smoking right as they jump
Yeah,
in.
it's like I don't understand it, and it's like, but you see what that does to people, because if you look at all the famous villains
Oh
who
yeah.
stop, you find out later that they stop. No,
Shane.
it's
Shane.
Shane. I mean,
Yeah.
you find out like the guys who are like, oh, they literally stopped smoking like on the dock. You're like, well,
Dude.
no wonder, man.
Yeah, that's
It's
tough. Ooh.
it's hard, but you know, he was carrying a lot of stuff in, and I've, you know, found out from his friends that he got bullied. You know, it's that cycle
Oh, yeah.
of things, and but you know, his friends are genuine, and they showed up for him for his thing,
That's
and
good.
they came up to me, they're like, bro, don't take this guy shit. It's like he's cool. He's cool, but just whatever. You're cool.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's, you know, his friends came up and like were like, dude, you're chill. And it we have been off and on talking to each other. We've hung out, you know, like when Anthony was still hanging out all the time, we were hanging out, and you know, he's a solid guy.
Yeah.
You know, he's
That's
just,
so good to hear.
you know, he's just,
I
like,
like
he's-
Rocky. I think he's a cool
Yeah,
guy
I mean,
too.
I thought he was fun to
Yeah.
watch. I think honestly, it's just two different approaches
the
to
same
how to
things.
deal
Yeah.
with people. And you were more, I think, in touch emotionally. He was more, you know, like that man. Like, and I feel like he was trying to turn you into that, like calling you a feminist, like that was some sort of, you know, bad thing.
Like it was a bad thing.
Because that's
And you're
yeah.
like, yeah, I
Me
am a
watching
feminist.
like that era, we were so many things from Fiji and China are like cancel culture now. Like it's
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
for
absolutely.
sure.
can't say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, it's that, and also it was just you know, who some of the people thought that they were, or thought they were going to be when they're out there.
Yes.
And you know, my
All the
season,
time.
like with the, I don't remember with your guys' season so much. You know, with our season, a lot of the people were, you know, quote unquote recruited,
Yes.
which is still, it's not what people think it is.
Yeah.
And a lot of people hadn't watched the show, like, and you know, for both me and Papa Smurf, for Gary, you know, we both had watched the show, and we were both fans of the show.
Mhm.
And coming into it, me also having just watched Cook Islands, or at least the start of Cook Islands, and we were like, okay, dude, they just split everybody up by race. It's going to be a thing, and it's always a I'm getting on this little side horse for a second. What a lot of people don't realize or think about for Survivor is that for minorities, it is a different gameplay.
Mhm.
And you know, you get into the whole DEI shape of things, whatever it is, like however you want to do the arguments. When you, in our era of Survivor, when there were Black people on the show, there were two of us, right? You know, before Cook, there were
man
just
and
two
a
of us,
woman.
man and a woman, and that was it.
Usually on opposite tribes, so that when the
Yep.
merge comes, you can, like, you know, finally
Yeah,
meet each other.
if you were
make it.
lucky, if you
Yeah,
make
if
it,
you make
right?
it. Yeah.
And you know, or it was two guys and one woman, or two women and one, like it was never parody. It was never the real parody. And and I don't know if you guys know about the whole like Black Survivor Coalition, and like the reality folks who basically went to
Mhm.
CBS and were like, hey,
Yeah.
this isn't cool.
Yeah,
you
no,
know,
I
you
love
know,
that.
and
I'm behind that.
and it was a big thing. And what people forget is that you know, and I would assume it's also the same for folks who are out, and you know, it's like you are representing the culture, you know. You are the sole you like, you suddenly you become that representation. And I'm a weird representation, let's be honest. Like, I'm not the blackest Black man that most people know. Like, I grew up in nerd culture, and like when I was coming up, blurs weren't a thing. All right, being a blurred, all right, which now it's like, now everybody's, you know, and now there's a black nerd, you know, now everybody's like, that's cool, right? You know, it was like super quiet conversation when Earl, because like, you watch anime, don't you? I was like, yeah. And it was like this quiet thing. And I was like, you watch people like you watch anime, don't you? Yeah, okay, cool. You know, and you
Yeah.
you know, you can be open and
We
out about
bond.
it. It was quiet, and because for a lot of people that wasn't a thing. I mean, Bob Dog, you guys know Bob Dog, right?
Oh
yeah.
gosh, I love
Right.
him.
So Bobby Mason is the biggest nerd on the planet. Dude played all the same stuff I did. He played Magic the Gathering, guys playing D&D. I haven't got a chance to, I would love to. He invited me to play with him and his brothers. They were running a game for all the homies, as he says. And I didn't get a chance to play. But I was like, Bobby, come on, but that's the thing. It's like, for a lot of folks up until, the last, it's weird to say because the time has been dilated, but like the last 15 years, like about 3 to 5 years after I played, suddenly it was like, okay, it's cool to be a black nerd. Nerd culture is now okay, right?
It's so strange because I never would have looked at it, but hearing you say that,
Yeah,
you are-
exactly.
it makes sense. Perfect
Yeah.
sense. Yeah.
Mhm.
because like I was the first real, open nerd that they cast.
Yes.
I mean, if you look back at Survivor, it's like, were people nerds? Possibly, probably, more than likely. Did you know it? Nope. I was just like, I LARP and I do tabletop and I do
Yes.
video games and I like comic books and I'm of that part of the culture. And now there's BLERDCon. There is a black nerd convention
No,
in this town.
wow.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh.
And and I'm like, where was this when I was a teen? Where was this when I was in my in my late 20s, early 30s?
Yeah, that's so fun.
And it's weird because I go on the show and I'm thinking, and I got to represent for everybody that's out there, and I'm going to represent for Compton because I'm the first player from Compton. I'm Southern California. I'm African American. I'm a nerd. I got all this stuff I'm thinking about, and also knowing that I had temper issues. And it's the last thing my grandma told me. She's like, "Watch your temper." I'm like, "Okay."
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. And and I'm a mama's boy for whatever that means. I do not follow a lot of the traditional, quote unquote, traditional lines, but I also who I am, right?
Yes.
I am an African American man from Compton who's got a little bit of education under his belt. There's also a nerd who I've seen gang violence in my surroundings, in my life. I never got into it, but I've been around it, right?
Wow.
And
Awful.
like people forget the 80s and the 90s was gang
That's the
time.
culture, yeah.
That was gang time in Los Angeles, and I didn't partake in it. My mom even had a rule. It was so weird. It was hard because my mom didn't like hip hop when I was growing up, and I'm like,
You feeling that hip hop?
she's like, you can't listen to rap and hip hop. I'm like, I gotta listen to rap and hip hop because I have people, and so so that was me, like, with a little boombox under the covers, going out there and knowing that, and it's true for everybody who played up until a point, and I think still today, because there's certain stereotypes that people have in their heads of what people are. There are certain things that people think of what you are going to be and how you're going to act, and you are aware of them, and depending on who you are and how you play, like Bobby talks about in his confessionals, and like I say, I talk about the older school players more, but Bob Dog used to talk about it in his confessionals. He's like, like, oh, scary black man, like attacking a little white girl, it's like, he's playing the game, but it reads differently for a lot of people, and to see other folks get attacked for that on, like, because remember Rosie, the big thing with Rosie and Sean, and was it Rosie? Yeah, I think it was Rosie and Sean back in the day where she gave him crap for how it was like, how you gonna single them out like that when everybody else is playing the same game?
Right.
It is hard for folks to come and hide. We can't hide the same way. Okay, that's the short version. We can't hide the same way that other people. So, like, if you want to play under the radar, you got to have enough people to be under the radar.
That's true. That's true. You gotta have the meat shields around you.
Meat shields.
Well, and so wasn't Fiji meant to be similar to Cook Islands, where the tribes were going to be divided into race, right?
Yeah, that was all of our understanding, and then we had Melissa, who
Dropped out.
I didn't know who she was until afterwards. She dropped out, and we're literally on the raft, you know, everybody's freaking out on the raft, going like, we had an infiltrator, like, because everybody's counting, you know.
Oh yeah, they probably thought there was a returnee or something.
Well, we didn't know what thing, because like we knew that there was 20 of us.
20, yeah.
And
You know,
got to 19.
yeah, it dropped to 19, and suddenly we're counting on the rafts. We're like, there's not enough people. Like who fell off? And so we all freaked out about it. I mean, like everybody was like, we had a spy, you know, because people didn't know how Survivor worked, and because the game was changing, because we were like the transition period to being to the game. And people was that somebody from production that was with? I mean, like people like seriously thought that we just had somebody from production who was trying to start.
Paranoid after a while when you're going through casting and all of that, because I mean they dangle lawsuits and millions of dollars and they're going to sue you and blah blah blah, and you're not going to be able to play, and you're just like, so
Now,
yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
Do you remember seeing any alternates with you out in Fiji?
We didn't have any, and that was the thing. It's
That's
like
a bummer.
the way that they cast our season, there were no alternates because they cast 20 people, you know, because usually it's, you know,
Divided by race.
Well, yeah, right. Because, you know, they want to have 5, 5, you know, 5, 5, and 5. And, you know, usually it was like you have 16 and you bring like, you know, 2 or 3 alternate, you know, 2 to 4 alternates. So, you know, having 20 people the first time, having that many people, they weren't planning on anybody dropping out. And really a large part of that was that, you know, like it's her story, but, you know, from what we were told later, what we found out later was that, you know, as we got more and more out there and she stopped taking meds. I don't know if that's true or not, but supposedly she was on anxiety meds. Not trying to start rumors. This is the story. This is the story. This is hearsay. But that she went cold turkey on her anxiety meds, and you know, which they didn't ask her to do. That is one of the things that people aren't aware of, and because it was more obvious in the first season, you know, first couple seasons, and less obvious later on as they tried to make it more and more, you know, being there. You know, about the medical box. There's the box with like, you have meds, great, take your meds. You know, it's like, yeah, good luck swallowing them, but take your meds. Because you know, no one has any water, but sure, you know, like, yeah, you know, like, work up enough spit for 20 minutes and you can swallow your bit, you swallow the horse pill that you have to take.
Well, it's interesting to me though, because like I have ADHD and I take meds for it. They wouldn't let me take it. They wouldn't let me take my allergy medicine either.
Wow.
And I don't know if they just wanted to see me lose it, you know, by not being able to pay attention. I don't know. I tapered though. Like I tapered myself off.
Wow.
Yeah.
And honestly, it really wasn't a problem for me out there because there's not a lot of distractions. And honestly, and this is weird, the allergies weren't a problem because there was nothing to be allergic to. Like there were no chemicals. It was all very natural. I mean, like no food. So I had no problems with that. It was weird.
80% humidity, so like, you know, your nose is constantly draining. So your skin's...
No, I mean, no sneezing. It was weird. I got home and started sneezing, but like, yeah, when I was there, I was fine. It was weird.
But I know, like, you know, like ladies were able to take the birth control, and if you're on heart meds, like if you were on like life-saving meds, that, you know, you could take them. You know,
so they're in the med box, and I'm sure even now today that there's more. Because all I had, I should say, was the malaria medication.
We all had to take that. The big ass horse pill. The big ass horse pill and the little horse pill.
Would I rather just have malaria or no?
The malaria medication that also gave you night terrors. Do you remember those side effects?
Oh man,
it's terrible.
No, we had the thing for flarsis, which flarsis. Somebody look it up. Flarsis, which is it's this basically disease you can get from the biting flies. There's horse flies in Fiji that bite, or at least at the time. But all the locals apparently were immune. So they're like, here, take this pill and take this multivitamin so you don't die.
It's that big.
It wasn't great.
You know, it's like, it's big and it's dry. Okay. How do I swallow this with? Are there enough coconuts? There are never enough coconuts.
No. Well, Anthony, what made you decide to even be on Survivor? What was this process? I mean, I know you're a gamer, so you were probably like, this just sounds like a fun game, but how many times did you audition and why did you do it?
Or recruition.
Or were you recruited?
It was a little bit of both. So at the time, my best friend Dave and I because we were working together. We're working together again now. It's funny. life's full circle. But we were actually trying to put our application together for the Amazing Race, because we were like, oh yeah, can we do the Amazing Race? And so we had a bunch of stuff already ready to go. Like, we've been looking at paperwork, mostly ready to go. And then we went on a trip. Like, we went on vacation, because it's like bro vacation. We went to Canada, and because we basically you sit and you drink beer for a week. It's great. And
That's what boys do on vacation. Okay.
you sleep in, you eat red meat, and you drink a lot of beer.
Sounds dangerous.
Yeah. It's not good for your health by any means, but it's fun.
Yeah.
So we're sitting in Canada, and and I get back to just an inbox of messages, and I was on Friendster. Again, for the old people in the audience, remember Friendster? Yeah. So
It's ringing me a
Friendster,
bell, but I can't remember why.
Friendster was the pre MySpace, which, yes, again, pre MySpace thing is basically, it's like 6 degrees of separate. There, like the whole 6 degrees of separation. Friendster would use the same model, and it was put your friends in, you can see who their friends are, and you can make friend connections, and it drew the little paranoia lines for you. So it looked like a big cookie chart. It was weird. But on Friendster, I come back to this message from this lady named Dominique Ferrari.
Dominique! Oh, I love her with my whole entire heart. I love her.
And it's basically, it's like, from somebody I haven't met, but like, I believe her brother went to Yale as well. So she's like connected, she's like, oh, you went to Yale and he went to Yale. And so so we're connected through people. And she was like one of those degrees of separation. And I get this message that basically is like, hey, you have a lot of reality shows in your bio that you're fans of. Have you ever considered auditioning for one? Here's the number.
Wow.
And I was like, because I was like, really?
Sure.
Really? And so, here I am calling back at like midnight. I'm like, this is the real numbers, and the real number. And it was like, hi, you've reached, Dominic Ferrari in casting. I was like, oh, okay. I'm like, I was like, so like, I ended up calling back at work the next day. I was like, okay, let me call back. So this is real, apparently. So, okay, sure, I'll call. And I called, and I ended up talking at work for like an hour and a half.
Oh, wow.
It started off with her just going like, what's your favorite show? What do you watch? I'm going like, well, I watch Amazing Race, but like really enjoy Survivor. And I went off on like an hour and a half about Survivor. Amazing. And because I was a fan.
Of course.
And she's like, how would you play? And what you do about this and strategy? She goes, you sound like you'd be really fun to do it. I'd love to see if we can get you on this show that I'm working on. And I was like going, great. I'm like, she goes, do you want to know what the show is? Like, I haven't even asked what the show is, by the way. Like, I don't even know what the show is. And she's like, you want to know what the show is? I'm like, yeah. She goes, Survivor. I'm like, what? And like, I'm sitting there trying to like
just got chills for you, Anthony. That's so fun.
Oh my gosh. And I'm sitting here trying to be chill, like, because I'm like literally in the office.
Oh, okay.
And she's like, let me get your address, and we'll get an application to you as soon as possible. Like, she said, fill out the little one, and then, can you fax it to me? She goes, fill out the little one, and then we'll send you the big one. The big one, like the big one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The big one. And she goes, I'll FedEx it to you. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, send it to the office so I can get it. And she's like, yeah, you just need to do this tape. It's audition. I'm like, audition tape? Okay. She's like, yeah, but I need it. And mind you, this is like a Thursday, right? This is a Thursday. And she goes, but I need the tape by like Sunday morning.
Oh,
wow.
I'm like, oh, okay. Like, sure. Okay.
So what'd you do?
So I filled out the thing literally that night, filled out the thing, faxed it that morning, got the FedEx in, got it, just went through that thing with a fine-tooth comb as much as I could, because dear God.
Yes.
Like,
they know you better than you know yourself at this point. Yeah.
I'm like, what? Jesus Christ, this thing is, I mean, like, and because they're like, this is the later applications, because it's tiers of applications. And it was like, this is freaking 500-page phone book that they send you.
It's a huge application.
Yeah. And it was like, who do it's not just the not just the release stuff, but like also the like, who's your favorite survivor? Who would you list here? Like all the stuff. And
What would you do for $1 million? What would you not do for
I'd do for $1
$1 million?
million. Who would you most like to have on the island with you? Who would you most not like to have on the
Yeah,
island?
yeah, yeah.
Who's your-
Because that's the person we're going to put right beside you.
Oh no, that's totally what they did, right?
100%.
Oh, hey
And-
guys, just as a side note, that question, what would you not do for $1 million? You know what my answer was? Bow to any other god except
Stop it.
Jesus Christ. I swear.
Stop
I swear.
it.
That
They're
I
like,
just realized that's
"Dave,
probably what got me on the dang show.
That's what
They were like, oh, this one right here. Let's do a bowing ceremony. Okay, sorry. So what about you, Anthony? What did you say for what would you not do for $1 million?
Oh, what would I not do?
Do you remember?
I said I would not intentionally hurt anyone.
Oh, okay.
If memory serves correctly, that like I don't want to hurt anybody. I would not intentionally hurt anybody. I said, it was like
That tracks with who you are, my friend. I love that.
Thank you. I'll lie and I'll steal if I need to for in the game, in the context of the game. I was like, I'll lie. And it was funny because I think one of the podcasts of the day, I think it was Armchair Survivor, one of the older ones. They were like, wow, this guy thinks lying is a big deal in this game. And we're like, lying is a big deal. It's like, for me, it's a thing. So I was like, I'll totally lie. Proceeds to get out there and not lie.
We always think we're gonna play so much harder, and then we get out there and we're like, oh my gosh, these are people with feelings, and I love them.
Right. Omission, lie by omission, sure. Straight up false. Not gonna do it. Can't do it. Tried.
I'm just bad at it. People
Um,
always call me out. They're like, oh yeah, you're lying. I'm like, yeah, I
it's
am.
because you blink, yeah. But yeah, I got this. I got this application and got it filled out, and then I, borrowed a camera and had a camera and just did some stupid, silly stuff. Just like.
Do you remember do you still have it? Is it?
Oh, I have it somewhere. Yeah, and I have it. It's one of those horrible things. I have it somewhere, and I don't know where it is. It's on DVD. Like I have it on DVD because they want it on VHS.
Oh yeah.
I just copied it on DVD. And I with a friend's help of not knowing what the hell I was doing, I hadn't cut it. And he's like, "What is was?" I'm just don't worry about it because you have to do stuff like that, right? Because I didn't have the software, and I didn't have time to do it the hard way. But I cut this. It was wonderfully ridiculous thing where I just talked about, you've never had a player like me before. You've never had it.
It's true.
You've never had a black man like me on the show before. You've never had a player like me on the show before. I'm a gamer and nerd, and I did a whole bunch of stuff, with costumes from LARPs. Like showed me playing games. One of my favorite tabletop games. It's a game called Paranoia. I was like, okay, so like here's Paranoia. I fell on my ass while skating. That was fun. It was like did a little thing hockey. Fell on my ass.
Self-deprecation, they love it. They love to see it.
Danced around with no shirt on around a fire pit around my barbecue with the fire flowing in it. That was
That's funny.
And
Aw, so you're just yourself.
I was just being me
Had some
and
fun. Yeah.
and
Good.
explained how have you survived in the real world. I'm like, well, growing up here at the time, it was right before that year, like part of my journey to Survivor, on my birthday in 2006, because we filmed in 2006 even though it aired in 2007. On my birthday that year in June, I got rear-ended by a drunk driver at 10 o'clock in the morning en route to go pick up my friend Dave, because we were meeting a bunch of people. A bunch of us going to go to Disneyland, as we did. Was going to go for my birthday, and was literally heading to go get him, because we were in a carpool together, meet up a bunch of club peeps, and I got rear-ended by a drunk driver. And
At 10 in the morning?
10 in the morning, apparently he'd been drinking all night. 10 in the morning, and got rear-ended by this drunk driver. It hit me so hard that it pushed my car underneath the truck that was in front of me at the stoplight.
Oh my gosh.
And I have pictures of it somewhere. I'll send you guys pictures so you can see
Oh
it.
my gosh.
But yeah, it reared at me, pushed my car underneath the car in front of me, which basically the poor guy in the truck, I was like the fourth car back, and he just kind of locked in on me, and I was coming off the freeway and just like trying to get away from him, and he just like followed me, and I got as close as I could to this bumper. And imagine this is like one of those lifted trucks, and imagine my little itty bitty coupe, right? My little Mitsubishi Mirage, little low car right here. It hit me like this, and it went up like that.
Oh,
Just
wow.
we went right up.
And
so,
where
like,
were you in this equation? You were
Oh, I was
under
in
the
the
truck?
yeah, I was under the truck in the driver's seat,
Holy crap.
and and
Anthony.
and I rolled down my, like, I thought I was like this big flash of light. I was like, oh, well, I'm dead. Okay, great. And
Is that
then
the light? Should I walk toward it?
no, it literally was that moment because that thing
Oh my
hits,
gosh.
and
Yeah.
then went down. I was like, oh, okay. I'm like, check myself out. Okay, nothing's broken, nothing's bleeding. And I look at my window shield, and my window is like all cracked and like just shattered. And I'm looking at what I thought was the inside of my engine block. What I was looking at was actually the underneath carriage of the guy's truck. And I was
Holy
like,
crap.
I'm like, oh, dude. I rolled down my window. And I turn and look, see the guy getting out the car, and he's stumbling.
Oh
He's
my
stumbling in the
gosh.
car. And people are like, this guy's video cameras, docs are like, oh, it's burning my brain. This guy's video camera like looks in the car. It's like, what? It's like, and people are going like, are you okay? People are taking pictures. This should have been a clue for me. People are taking pictures. And I'm going like, don't let that guy go. Don't let that guy go. It's like, he's drunk. Keep him here. And I'm like, somebody called 911. And I roll my window back up. People are like, you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. I roll my window back up. Call my mom. Mom, I just got into a major car accident. I'm okay. But, you might need to come get me. I call up my friend Dave. I'm like, Dave, like, I just got in a car accident. I'm not gonna be able to come to get you. My mom's on the way. Like, you want to come hang out, like, whatever, moral support. This is where I'm at.
And you're doing all of this underneath a truck.
Yeah, I don't.
Good
I,
Lord.
I,
This is
I have no
crazy.
idea. I have no idea how bad this is, right? And I rolled down. I like check it out. I can't find. Mind you, I had to go search for my my phone because it had like flown from where I had it in the little console.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It was underneath my foot, underneath the accelerator, so I had to reach down to get it. I unbuckle, I get out the car, and I see this tire.
Oh,
I look over, see this tire. Like I had no clue. I was like, open up, see this tire, and then I took 2 steps back, realized just how bad this accident really is. He
yeah.
just buckled, went straight to the ground. I was like, oh crap. But I walked away without a scratch. No one was the worst. The 2 worst probably the worst injury, because we were all injured. Like I was sore as hell.
Whiplash, I'm sure. Yeah.
But the guy in front of me, because poor guy is just kind of like kicking in his car, and like the next thing you know, he's vertical. Because when you get hit like that, your airbag doesn't deploy. So apparently he hit the steering wheel with his sternum. So I heard that he cracked his sternum, but he walked away. There was a dog in the front, like in the back of the bed, and because there was like 2 trucks. The poor guy at the stoplight, he was going home. He was literally like, his daughter saw the accident happen.
That's how close we were.
Because she was, she was up in the building. He was getting ready to turn to go in, and he had his dog there. And I made the paper. I made them, because we were like 2 blocks from the Long Beach Press Telegram, and they came out and took pictures. And I made, like, there's like the front page, and then there's A1, which is the still color inside. Yeah, on the first half. The article.
Wow.
Yeah.
So was this like after you had sent your application in?
This was before.
You used this story in your application.
So I used the story. So this is my story.
He's
So
a
this is my
survivor. Look at you.
So that was the long way of saying like that. I included that in my survivor story, and
That's a good story.
yeah, with my title of "He's Not Going to Disneyland." That's what the article says.
That's not happening.
But yeah, that was my survivor story, and I used that, and yeah, got the same reactions from Dominique and everybody when I told that.
I'm sure.
And I don't know if that's what got me in, but
what do you think got you in? What do you think they put you on the show for?
I think because I like to think I am who I present,
Yes.
so when I was like, this is who I am, and they got this thing, and then they saw me and they're like, oh, he actually is that, like he's that guy. And I think that's what got me in, just because it was, I'm gonna be me. Even though like a idiot, I was playing a game, I was playing me. I was playing a version of me, until I was just me. And I think that's really what got me on the show. Was that. And
what kind of conflict did you think? Because they look for the 3 things. I always think about that, like attractiveness, which you had, and then conflict and humor. Okay, so
Yes.
humor, the self-deprecation, falling on your butt and your skates or whatever, like all of that is fantastic. What kind of conflict do you think you brought to the game?
I would suspect, because who I was then and still who I am now and things that I've been, like my whole life, like
Mhm.
I am very much a people pleaser. Yeah, I'm a
Mm.
people pleaser. And that's always been a thing. And to different degrees with different people, it just depends. But I think that was probably the conflict that they
Well,
saw at some
can I
point.
give my 2 cents too here? Like you, it's going back to our very beginning of our conversation, the BLERD, like you
Mhm.
broke the stereotype.
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
you were being put in there, and that in itself is the conflict,
Yeah, that
where
brings conflict.
you were not the stereotypes that they used to cast. You were breaking that, but they were casting the stereotypes still. They were
Mhm.
casting the Rockies, and they were hoping for the confrontation. That's my
Yeah.
assumption here.
Oh, and I totally go with that, because that
Mhm.
was part of it for me too, because it was very much the man haters tribe, as people have called it. When we end up with, I end up with the tribe with, with Rocky and
All the
and
boys.
the woman haters tribe was like with Rocky and Alex and Mookie and with Dreams, and here I am, the guy who's
What a tribe. Damn. Oh my
Yes.
gosh. That would have been
Well,
hard.
Yeah.
I give you props. That's a
yeah,
hard
100%.
tribe.
Especially as a people pleaser, that would be really hard.
Yeah.
But I do think when people hear the word conflict, they think, oh, somebody who creates quarrels and gets themselves in the middle of every situation. And that's not what that means.
No.
Sometimes the conflict is more of what you bring up in other people. And
Yeah.
I think you being a different type and everybody probably wanting to stuff you in a box that felt comfortable for them, that brings, yeah, you're right. I think that's really interesting. And it did. I mean, look at what you did to Rocky. You didn't mean to, but you really riled that kid up. And you know what I mean? Just by being yourself, by being a quote feminist, and having feelings. I don't know that he was used to having men in his life who were in touch with that. And I think it's pretty cool. And it's
I
probably
think
why
that's
you're friends
really
now.
cool.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, like I say, he is a solid guy.
he
It's
is.
just
Yeah.
it's just that, for where he was, bros don't talk about that. Don't,
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
don't have those, do those things. And I am, and long since have been, what they used to call a crybaby. Like I'm the guy who, like, I apologize to my kids. I'm like, I'm sorry, Dad's going to cry now because we're watching an anime that, like this, we're I'm sitting and watching animes with my teenager, and I'm like, it gets this big emotional moment where they're like, it's like, I have to,
Yeah.
because it is who I am. And I'm just like, it's Rachel,
It really is who he is.
yeah,
That's
and
amazing.
I'm sorry, son. He's like, no, it's okay. It's like,
That's
So did being on the show, like Anthony prior to Survivor and then Anthony after, did it change your perspective or your life or anything? Did it have an impact?
yeah, it's so multifaceted of how it's changed me and solidified me in many different ways. One, it is very much made me more hyper aware of being in the moment,
Mhm.
or trying to be in the moment, and
Yeah.
trying not to constantly think about, like, everybody has their anxieties and everybody has, stuff that they bring to the table. And one of the things that for me, I'm trying to, and it's just, I'd say it's constant construction. It's always a work in progress, is that I'm trying to be present more and more and more and more. And I have been trying, and, I fail a lot, like all the rest of us. I fail.
Yeah.
But especially the last 10 years,
we all do though.
I want to be present, and that's one of the big things. And, like, looking back at the moments in the show of being there, and, like you say, not having the distractions. I mean, it is, when you already sit with your own thoughts a lot,
Yes.
and when you have time to really dig and break yourself down, because that show breaks you down. Like, even if you're on it for 3 days or 39, it breaks you down. And especially, like, even if you are used to certain levels of discomfort, hardships, it is different. And this is one of the things that only people who've been on the show, and what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
Unless you've been on the show, you do not understand. Australian survivors get it. Anybody who's done any of the versions get it. It breaks you down in a way that's different from anything else, because you have no time to do anything else but think about who you are in the game, in the world, what you brought with you. And it's to quote Yoda, what's in there? Only what you bring with you. Only what you bring with you. And whatever baggage you bring with you, whatever headspace you bring with you, it gets there and it's amplified, because it's loud. It is loud. I remember laying on, my big moment where I sat there and cried. The big moment where everybody's like, "Oh, you cried on national TV." I'm like, "Yes, I did," because I was talking about because we did. And
I did too, then, believe it or not.
okay, so, yeah. Dream
Emotionless Todd cried.
Dream said it best. Dream said it's like best. You cry every day out there. It's just a matter of whether they caught you crying or not. And
yeah, that'll preach.
And yeah, right. And for me, it was sitting there thinking about who I am and where I was at that time, and missing my grandpa, who had passed many years before, and knowing that he would never see who I was, never saw who I was as a man. There at that time, I'm doing it again. See, I try. Who I grew up to be as a man, who I was then as a man, who I will become now as a man. You would never get to see that. And it was me reflecting on that and kind of who I was and what I was bringing to the table at the time, and where I was feeling, and just having dealt with Rocky and just being out there and being cold, being hungry, being wet, being itchy. It's just like I said, it breaks you down. And all I had to do was look at the stars and reflect on that and where I was, and knowing that as hard as things were, I was still there. I was still there at that point. And because I was still there, I knew that anything that happened past that point would not be a reflection of me. It would be a reflection of the forces that are pushing on me, and whether or not I can hold on to it, if that makes sense. Like,
that might be the deepest answer we've gotten on that question so far. Wow.
It's like, good. Am I the reed in the wind? Am I the rock in the river? Or am I the water? Which am I? And it's just kind of like, that's where I was.
So which are you?
Yes.
Yes.
I like
yes.
You are at different points for all of us, where we are the rock, or we are the water, or we are the reed that's big, and
Jeez, you've got my brain going like,
he's like, wait, are we in church?
But that's the kind of stuff that I was thinking about out there. As
that's deep stuff, man.
But I carried a bunch of that with me, and when I found out I was going to be a dad, because it was a surprise, because it was a surprise, and when I found that out, it was like, well, how do I do with this? How do I deal with that? And so there are times when in my relationship with my ex, it's just like how I deal with that. It's like, am I the rock? Am I the water? Am I the reed? Do I bend? Do I break? Do I get moved? Do I flow? To my heart? My grandma just passed 2 years ago. In that moment, it was like, okay, what am I? I can be all these. I be a rock for my mom. Be a rock for my mom. Bend at work. Go with the flow for what's going on right now. And it is kind of where I've had to put myself again and again and again. We taught, one of the things that I studied at Yale is a concept of the mask, right? And not masking, because people get it right. It's the concept of the mask, all right? It's not code switching. It is who you fundamentally are to different people. We wear different masks all the time, right? It's stuff that you've heard before, okay? If you heard Billy Joel's The Stranger, right? Right? It's like we all wear a face, right? Cirque du Soleil, Kidam, right? We're all a stranger to somebody, right? We're all the unknown. The Fugees, we all wear the mask, right? It's a trope that comes up again and again. And we all have different faces that we have to put on for different parts of our life, right? Not just code switch, not just like I talk to somebody different. It's like you are fundamentally a different person to different people sometimes. and you have to play that role, not just for them but for yourself. All right, you have to, we are brothers and sisters and fathers and mothers and friends and lovers, and we are strangers. That's a different mask that we wear, right?
Employees,
Employees, right?
survivors.
Yeah, survivors. I mean,
Mhm.
like when you go to a convention, where you guys go to, like, to events, you put on the survivor face, right? And it's not just code switching. It's not just like you talking different to them. It's like you are, for them, that person they saw on the screen,
Right.
Yes.
right? But for you,
So and so from Survivor.
yeah. But also for you, you also have to put on a mask that you are you, but you are their perception of you, and it's a different mask, right? So, they want to put this mask on you, they want to put you in that pigeonhole, but you have a different face that you have to show. You are still who you are now, how many years later, from Survivor, because none of us are fundamentally the same person. We are different people,
Right.
And hopefully we've grown. Hopefully we changed a little bit.
If we're doing it right.
If we're doing it right, and we become.
I would hope so. Yeah.
Well, yeah. At least a little bit. But we have a face that we have to be who we are when we look in the mirror, right? There's the face that we see when we look in the mirror, and of who we want to be, of who we want the world to think of us as we are, but also who we fundamentally want to be. And it goes back to the thing of, like, saying, like, perceptions, like on the show. It's like, when you are going out there, it's like, who do you think you are?
Mm.
And who are you really? And who do people see you as? Right. And those are all different masks that you're going to wear. And coming off the show and growing up, let's just call it growing up, getting older. The wisdom comes knowing which mask you're most comfortable in.
Which most serves you.
Yes.
Makes you feel most comfortable. Yeah, that's true.
And which one fits the best,
Yeah.
because there are masks that we wear that don't always fit us, right? And sometimes you want to put on the mask that you can be the best you, that has the best fit, and that the world can look at you and you can wear it with confidence, knowing that that's who you are. Sometimes that's a villain. Sometimes for some people that's going to be being a villain for in somebody else's story, right?
Yeah.
And one of the cooler things that I pulled away from this, kind of circle back to actually answer your question, is that the challenge for me has been growing and learning to know that I cannot and do not have control of how other people perceive me.
It's true.
And how they see me is not necessarily my responsibility. I can only do my best to wear the mask that works best for me, and let other people decide what that story is, which is what Survivor is. Survivor is they take this little bit of you, right? They take this part of you, or this part, and they go, right?
Yep. And they zoom in.
Right? They zoom in and they stretch it out to make it huge, right? If you look at tropes, Survivor, Rocky's a bully, right? But Rocky is also had family things he's gone through. He's got strong friendships. He's fundamentally a good guy, cares about people around him. Ultimately, his bullying on the show is not about him wanting to belittle me. It was about him trying to pick me up, but he's
trying to help you be better. Yeah.
Better. But it's just a different way of doing it.
Different way,
right?
yeah, that you're used to.
Yeah. And even for you guys, people call what Courtney one of the biggest villains. I'm like, really? Really? I mean, really?
No, she's one of the sweetest.
She's a sweetheart, and it's just funny because you look at how people are portrayed on stuff, it's the whole heroes and villains and and stuff. It's like there are people who are fundamentally different than they are on the show, and not at the base levels. Like what you see on the show is real. It's it's who they are, but it's not the whole of who they are. And
it's who they are when you take away all the comforts of life and food and throw them into a situation that they've never expected to be in. That's what happens.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's one of the things for me that why I sometimes do engage, because it's like there's a whole thing going on right now. I don't know if you guys have seen it. the whole thing of everybody's going like, oh, it's so fake when they hand you food. That's back to that again. It's like,
Oh.
oh, they hand you food, and like I'm saying that with the newer cast, like the 49, they're like, oh, you had it easy, and I'm just like, going, nope, you go ahead, tell them, no, it's not, it's real. Like what. I still have scars. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm sure we all still have scars. I know you still
Yeah.
you still have your what'd you name him? Your parasite?
Parasite.
Oh, yeah.
It was Juan.
Juan the parasite.
Juan the parasite, right? It's like Survivor fundamentally, like I said, it breaks you down. It physically changes you. I mean, there are people who have not come back from some of that stuff,
Yeah.
Reality TV, especially the non-manufactured, okay, it's because there's a different people lump it all together. And
Yeah.
the game shows, right? I want to say combat reality, but not combat.
Challenge.
The challenge, thank you.
Yeah.
The challenge reality shows, right? Ones where it is a game where you are challenged against other people, repeated against other
Yes.
people, right? There are aspects of it that are quote unquote fake, and depending on the type of show it is, but ultimately you see real people doing real stuff.
Yes.
And sometimes they get hurt emotionally. I mean, people forget about the pirate theme one that Mark Burnett did. Pirate Master.
Yeah.
All right. I'm still friends with Kendra Guffey,
Kendra,
right?
yeah.
Kendra's my girl.
That's great.
And people forget that there was a trigger warning. There was a suicide, because of that show.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So and a lot
Gosh.
of people didn't like her on the season, but also, one of the ladies, she was a lawyer. She got so bullied online by what people perceived her. Like the response online was so malevolent that she, and she had some other she had other issues too, but she unalived herself, and that's
That breaks my heart. I didn't know that.
and
And that's the scary thing going on reality shows, guys.
Yeah.
Is like, I mean, people do have their opinions and they forget that you're a real person and they don't hesitate to share how much they hate you or how much they love you. So you can believe either one and still be injured by it. If you think you're the crap and that nobody can, bring you down because everybody loves you, they'll hate you in 5 seconds the minute you do a move that ticks them off. Like, it's so fickle. And if you don't know who you are, if you don't have that real sense of self going into this, that is a recipe for absolute disaster. So
I
yeah.
actually had a fan reach out to me literally about 3 days ago, and they said, I have a question. When you were auditioning or going through the casting process of Survivor, did you think about the side of reality TV where people will not like you? And I was like, to be completely honest, I had thought about it, but that's just because I was like obsessed with Survivor, but it wasn't something I stewed on. So
Right.
it wasn't something that I was necessarily prepared for. So after the show, not everybody's going to love you ever. There's not any contestant that nobody or, everybody loves, period. Someone's going to hate you and they're going to say something about that online and you're going to read it and you're going to get your feelings hurt and it's not going to be fun. And so there is really no proper way to prepare for it. You just have to be ready for it.
You have to know who you are. You have to know that another person's perception of you is not reality. It's just their
Correct.
perception. You have to know that you are this person and just write it out. I swear they forget. They don't even remember your name a couple years later for most of us. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Who've been on the show. I mean, unless you're a winner or like really memorable, most people are like, what show are you on? What season? They don't know who I am. They hated my guts or they loved me. And, I didn't believe any of them. I was like, you don't really know me. You saw
Yeah,
one
you don't have
aspect of
approval
who
of
I
them.
am.
Yeah.
And so, you have to, boy, that's a tough one. That breaks my heart. I didn't know that story.
Yeah.
That was sad.
Aw,
Very sad.
Yeah.
Well, Anthony, would you do it again?
Yeah. Actually, I would. That was.
Okay.
I don't like. I would love to do it again. I'm like I said, I'm a different person now. I'm a different person, and I have a lot more patience than I used to have.
He says, but he doesn't look convincing when he says.
I think you like to think that. I
Yeah,
think
we
my
do.
patience has gone down.
Yeah, mine too.
Yeah, right.
Patience is a virtue, but it's not something that we all connect with, can pick up along the way. And sometimes we have to learn it over and over again. So,
Yes.
but yeah, I
Yes.
think it'd be fun to see you on. I love seeing people play the game again if they've changed
Yes. I
from
think that would be a really cool season is
Really
to bring
cool.
back people from old school seasons, especially who are completely different now and see what they would play like the two of you. That would be incredible.
heck yeah. We'll make an
CBS?
alliance.
Yes.
Make it happen.
Make it happen. Make it happen. Yeah. I think it'd be a
Yeah.
lot of fun.
It would be fun. Well, we love you so much, and we've had so much fun talking to you. We want to be respectful of your time and let you have your day. But is there anything else you want to talk about? Like before you go, is there anything going on with Anthony that you want people to know about?
Anthony has been doing some things. The biggest thing that I've been getting into over the last few years is that I've been kind of digging into the immersive world. I've been part of like an online portal called No Proscenium, which has been on their podcast a bunch of times.
No proscenium?
No proscenium, yeah. The proscenium, the proscenium walls, like the proscenium stage where it has the fourth wall. And there's no fourth
I have no idea what that means, but
sorry.
maybe you could explain it.
It is a theater nerding thing. So basically, the proscenium is the fourth wall that doesn't exist on a stage. So that's the proscenium, right?
Like the thing that they break on The Office.
Yes, the thing they break
When
on
they
the
look at the
office.
camera.
So
Okay.
so when you look at a stage, right, there's three walls, right? There's that wall, there's the wall, right? And the stage, the part that comes out is called the proscenium. So that's the part that that the actors face, that we get to see into their world. And the idea behind no proscenium is that there is no proscenium, literally. So there is no fourth wall. There are no walls because you are part of the show. So immersive theater, like escape rooms, that kind of escape rooms are part of it. But it's like the larger, oeuvre, as it were, of the art form. So like theater, theater that doesn't that you are part of the show, that you are in the same on the same plane as the show itself. And we've one of my friends been running that for a while, and we've brought in other people from different areas, including PG, one of your fellow castmates. So
I was getting ready to say, you have got to have talking to PG about this, because I have a feeling she would be fully on board. Yes.
Well, PG. I don't know if you guys know, but I'm gonna plug PG's thing. So besides No Proscenium, I've also been with PG on her podcast that she's been doing. REA, Room Escape Artists, is the group that she's been working with, and they actually interact and work with No Proscenium as well. They cover all things escape rooms, as far as games. So she's doing a thing called PG Plays now, I think it is, where she's talking about games and other stuff. And PG and I have kept in contact. We've been friends for since I first met her. It's like going, "You're cool. You're also a gamer." She's like, "Yeah," and and so we hang out with her in the desert once a year for this thing called Neotropolis, which is basically this huge interactive cyberpunk space thing in the desert. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, that's kind of the stuff I've been doing lately.
I love that.
And, we talk about reality shows as well, because in its own way they are, it is a weird kind of performance, that's, you're in it, but it's for you, right? It's for you, and other people get to watch it. So it's you are in the show, watching the show, participating in the show, and other people get to watch you do the thing. So it's kind of a
interesting. I love it. Well, that's so fun. Well, thank you. Thanks for sharing with us. This has been so fun.
It's so good to catch up. It's been so long.
Yeah.
It's been a minute. Todd and I used to hang out constantly. we hung out. We were like at Disneyland every third.
It's true.
Yeah.
Because one of my favorite stories is like I was walking around, like me and you and PG and Amanda were at Disneyland, and we were all there together. And this was like, I had a pierced lip, and I had like this like emo bang, and we were on Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh God, yeah, that's right.
And I pointed at something, and I was of course wearing 42 bracelets, and one of my bracelets grabbed my lip ring and tore it out.
No.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, those are good memories. How fun. Well, you guys need to go to Disneyland. I want to come next time. Tell me
Yes,
when you
Yeah,
go.
definitely.
I will never say no to Disneyland. I
Yeah.
love
Okay.
Disneyland.
Yeah, it's just a flight away, right? Not
Yeah.
too bad.
You
And we
can
can
do
ride
it.
together.
Yes, absolutely. We could drive down.
Yeah, that's true. We could.
Good times. Good times.
Well, thank you, sir. And we appreciate hearing about your life beyond the torch and all your insights. I feel like I needed to take notes and like sit down and do some
I know,
meditation
right?
after this. For crying out loud, you're so deep. I love it. I'm
You
just
need
like,
to make like a coffee table book with just some of these things where you like you turn the page and it's like a picture of a reed, you know?
yeah,
Will you bend or
are you
break?
the reed today or are you the rock?
I've been trying to do some work. I've been doing the work.
I
love
love it. No, I'm
That's
all
great.
about like, improving yourself, learning about how things work, how you show up in the world.
Absolutely.
It's so
I think
good.
it's great.
And I love that Survivor kind of sparked that for you because it did for me as well.
Yeah,
So,
it does that. Thank you guys for having me on. Thank you for letting me ramble.
oh no, thank you for rambling. We
loved
loved it. We're
Yes.
here for it, man. This is what this podcast is about. So we appreciate you taking the time.
All right.
Absolutely.
Love you, my friend. Mwah. We'll see you
Bye.
soon.
He's so fun. I love
Deep breath.
Anthony.
Deep breath. What a sweetheart. He just like lights up a room when he comes into it, doesn't he?
Well, and he's the easiest person in the world to talk to. Like he
Yeah.
is easy to talk to. He's friendly. He's kind, and he's got all those deep insight, like what are they called? Inside.
Insights.
It's too
or
early for me
whatever.
still, but
I know.
that's what I'm trying to say.
No, I get it. And I also, here's the thing. You know me, because we were on Survivor together. Like, I don't want to talk about stuff that's surface. And so
Yeah, no.
when he mentioned Bob Dog, he and Bob Dog are both people that when I've met them in person, it's just always gone there, like very deep
Yes.
conversations. And so that to me is just really exciting. I'm just like,
Well,
I don't want to talk about the weather. Oh, it's so
I
boring.
mean, 'cause, yeah, it's true. We can talk about the weather and that's fine, but like he's not afraid to jump into it. And he's
Right.
I've just always really enjoyed Anthony. He's such a good guy. And seeing that part of him on Survivor where it just focused on that one little thing where he was, the mama's boy or whatever.
Mhm.
It's hard because he's so much more, and I wish that
I know.
more was. But
Right.
all that aside, good things are happening with him.
Yeah.
So that's good.
And maybe you learned something about yourself today, listening to Beyond the Torch. Who knew this could also be a mind expanding podcast? Who knew? Well, speaking of podcasts, you guys listen, if you are enjoying Beyond the Torch, do us a favor and share it with somebody who loves Survivor, because that's how people find out about it, is through word of mouth. And also, make sure you're subscribed so it's right there when it's ready to go. Again, this is our last podcast for this year. So you won't be seeing us again until January. But when you do see us again, you're going to see me and Courtney for 3 episodes, and then you'll see me and Todd together again. We are not breaking up. I'm never letting you go,
coming
Todd.
back. I'm coming back. And I've got a busy couple weeks.
No, I get it. No, I 100% get it. And I want to be respectful of that, but I also want to keep recording because we have so many people who want to be on the show now, which is fun. Now that people are kind of talking more about it, I'm getting notes from survivors like, hey, I think I'm ready. I'm like, yeah.
Want to know who?
Oh, well, I'll tell you later.
Yeah.
But I do have, like I said, 3 pretty good ones with Courtney coming up in December that we'll record.
So Boston Rob, Tina, and Brian.
Yes, I know.
I'm jealous.
Humans.
I'm jealous, honestly.
I know. I'm sorry. But we do have some really good ones. I actually got Rob Sesternino to say he would come on in February. So, hopefully I can hold him to that. And, if
Rob,
we'll see.
I love Rob.
Yeah, I would because I love hearing from people who I know this show has changed their life a lot. And Boston Rob, come on. I would love for him to bring Amber on with him too and talk about, their whole life has changed. And then, Rob is now like podcast king, like with all these different.
Rob C is one of the reasons, like he's on my application. I put him down as like someone I wanted to play like.
Aw. Did you tell him that? Have you told him that? You need to tell him.
I think I have.
That's sweet.
When I was on his podcast, I believe.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe.
Yeah. Anyway.
I put him and Sandra. So
yeah. Well, and we love hearing from you. If you want to leave us a voicemail, the voicemail link is right there in the show notes. It's always there. And all you gotta do is click on it. You get 90 seconds to just share your heart. What do you love about Survivor? If you have questions for me and Todd that you want answered, then, let us know. We'll be happy to answer them. And if you're looking for a pop, Todd
Yes, I make custom Funko Pops for a living. So basically mini me's. I'll show you some that are in the works. I'm currently trying to make a dragon,
Oh,
you
it's
know,
so
but I will
cute.
also make, you know, people, mini versions of you. So I sculpt them all by hand. I work with my husband and we both make these little toys. And if you would like them made, so they're good wedding cake toppers, birthday gifts, Christmas gifts, all that good stuff, shoot me a message, Todd's Pop Shop on Instagram or toddspopshop@gmail.com.
Yay. Well, I love it. And if
Oh,
you're
yes.
looking for a life or faith transition coach, I do that as well. My website is leslieniececoaching.com. And I also have another podcast. If you are going through any kind of faith transition, it might be helpful to you to hear these other journeys. It's called Honoring the Journey. And I host that one by myself. The first season I had a co-host, but then she ended up having to not be able to help anymore. So I kind of said, well, I'm kind of enjoying this, so I'm going to do it myself.
And I
And
was a guest on it, and it's really, she was
it's
fun.
a really great show. I mean, I love it. It's a little heavier than this one,
Mhm.
you know, but in such a good way. So like if you're questioning things, you know, just go look at the episodes. There's like 90 some of them now. And you know, I'm sure you'll find one that will connect with you. I've talked to so many people and it's been really fun and very life and heart expanding for me. So, you know, we are not just here on Beyond the Torch, we're all over the place and we would love to serve you in another way as well. So thanks for joining us. And
Thank you,
Todd, is there anything
everybody.
more you want to say before we close out?
I am not leaving. I'll be back. I hope you all have safe and wonderful holidays. It's a crazy busy time of year, and I know we can all get caught up in the things around us, but just remember to watch out for yourself and the people you love. Breathe, slow down for a minute, and have fun.
Yeah.
It's crazy busy, but we want to stay around to be crazy busy.
Yes,
So,
exactly. So I hope things go
yes.
well for you guys for the holidays, and we will see you again in January.
Bye.